Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas, and we're waiting for Drake Bailey to be able to come in. Um, ex- why am I hearing an echo? I am hearing an echo for some reason. But anyway, everyone, I Drake is having problems with his computer right now, so he is desperately trying to get his audio fixed. So we could see his face, but we wouldn't be able to hear anything that he said. So that's a bit of a problem. But anyway, he's working on that. He's trying to get it fixed right now. So hopefully he will show up here. If he doesn't, we're going to have to reschedule. And I want people to know that that is the reason why we haven't had a show in a few weeks. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, first, I got hacked, and that cost me a lot. And then Drake got hacked, and his computer apparently still isn't totally together because he has no sound, and that's why he's not here yet. Hopefully he can get that fixed shortly. So I just thought we would try to talk about a few things, and hopefully he will come on fairly soon. um, I just think we could talk about a number of things. I have Christine is in or also known as the dot connector is with us, and she may share in the conversation a little bit too while we're waiting for Drake. There's Isn't that right, Christine?
Yes, that is. Dot
Okay.
connector is in the house.
Okay. Um, well, everybody's waiting for the transition still, and so many different things are happening. And then there was this oh, they've been throwing out all kinds of distractions to get people to not look at what happened in 2020. And again, I have to be careful what I say because we are on the censored channel, something that's not supposed to happen in America, but it is running rampant, and big tech is shutting people down. And I'm sure that's why they hacked me, and they also hacked Drake. And there are
And
other
I got
people.
I got hacked as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Christine got hacked even.
Yep.
So they're hacking anybody that's working with me. It just makes me feel bad.
I'm a little paranoid here.
Yeah, yeah. They just they really don't like me, and I'm not even that big. I mean, there are other people that are a lot bigger than my channel is.
Well,
I'm
your channel should be much bigger because you have the best guests.
Thank you, Christine. I work at getting good guests, and we have had a lot of really good guests, and so I hope you take the time to listen to some of the other guests that I do have. One of the guests that I had just recently, and if you haven't seen it and you have a pet, you definitely should watch it. I've never seen or wasn't aware of a company like this. It's kind of like a um, health food store for your dogs or cats. And sometimes that is um, very important because they do get sick. They're exposed to the same toxins and problems that we are. Therefore, um, they may need something that will help them, and they have products that do that. And they sent me a few products to try, and I said I can't really tell much because my pup is only 3 years old, so she's not that old, so she doesn't really have any problems that I'm aware of at this point in time. But anyway, and I was even having problems when I was doing the show for the dogs. It's like they don't even like, and cats, like they don't even want to help they won't want you to help your pets either. But there was a warning put out by Deborah Tavares about them, trying to kill our pets. Also, I mean, we're in a depopulation thing that's going on, and what do you think silver will get to? Well, I don't have any idea what silver will get to, but I do know that it is believed to be in increasing demand in the future because it's used in computers and parts, all kinds of technical equipment. So,
And a lot of the free energy devices that are proposed for the future as well will
that
require silver. So silver is the bomb. It's the way to
It
go.
is. In fact, you might be better off investing in silver than in gold. Um, but we'll see if that's
Um,
right.
but Gail, I wanted to get back to the show yesterday. I think it was yesterday. So much has happened with the pets. She was right on target. Her products. She has the best, like the bentonite clay, shilajit. She had zeolite for detoxing. I mean, she had the best product.
Mammals need to detox, and we're a
Yeah,
mammal too, and so are our animals. And I don't know about you, but I love my little dog, and she's my companion, and she makes me smile when I'm sad, and I call her my fur angel, and I mean that sincerely.
yeah. I mean,
I,
I have two
I
cats that are my babies. They
yeah,
get spoiled.
I just
Um,
say they're she's my angel in disguise.
but I just wanted to mention and encourage everybody to go watch that because they've been in business since 2006 or so, and they she does the question. She answered all the questions so well. They have a great track record of success.
Yeah, just look at
Lots
the
of
reviews.
Yeah, they're almost all
Mhm,
5 stars. And
exactly.
she really knew what she was talking about. But most of all, you could, what came through to me was the integrity of that company,
Yes,
which is
yes,
so
yes. Well,
important
it's a
when you,
small family company, and it's very fortunate that they were able to stay in business because they got attacked by the FDA in the very early stages.
right.
And so
And we did,
they're on top of things as far as your pets are concerned. So I would highly recommend you watch the video and go to the website.
and there's lots of free resources. We went into it a lot of topics like how do you help your pet with EMF frequencies, for example, we talked about. So we got into a lot more than you might think, you know?
Michelle Smithy, if you notice in the chat, she just brought up
Yes.
that we're discussing Pat's food shots creating issues, but and no, also no one has brought up chips, and she's absolutely right, Michelle. I've heard the same thing.
You know
They
what?
emit a frequency, and it's probably very damaging to the health of the pet. I would bet
I
money on it.
had mine chipped when they were kittens, and I never thought of it again.
Well, I didn't have mine chipped, and I didn't have mine,
She owns a pet food store. She,
and
she's
I
saying,
didn't okay, and I did not have, I haven't done the regular schedule for them either because it makes no sense to me. Okay. To give a chihuahua the same thing you give a mastiff. Anyway, I've had a couple people asking me, where's Drake? Drake is trying to get the audio on his computer fixed. And if he's able to do it in a relatively reasonable amount of time, he will come on the show. He has no sound right now. As I said earlier, for those that have come in late, we've both been hacked. Okay. He got hacked after I got hacked.
and
And
I got hacked.
Christine I keep forgetting you got hacked too. So if you have something to do with my show, you might get hacked. I don't know. If you keep asking me where's Drake, that's where he is. He doesn't have any sound. So unless you just want to look at his handsome face, um, there's nothing we can do about it at the moment. He's working on it. And if it doesn't come through, I guess what we'll have to do is have another show at another time.
But you know
And
what, Gail? This is a great opportunity to talk to the audience. I'd like to ask them, we've talked about this already, ask them some questions about what they would like to see in future shows. You know what I mean?
sure. Well, if they have anything to say, they would need to put that in the chat and we would certainly answer them. There was another thing that because my show is relatively small. I'm, not huge compared to a lot of people. And we were thinking about if you noticed all the people who have almost 100,000 subscribers and so on, they have um, they're asking for donations. They're asking for help, and the chances of getting that with that many is a lot greater than with the small number that I have. And we will. I may have to go to a membership. I may have to do some sort of payment. I can't afford all of this myself. And when we got hacked, it knocked everything out of the loop.
Well, I have looked into options that we wouldn't be behind a paywall per se, like on Patreon or on your own website, to have to go to. There is
Mhm.
an option in YouTube that's called um, a membership um, that you can volunteer for. And with different tiers of membership, like let's say one's $5, one's $7, we can add specific perks in there. Example, you're a great nutritionist, and perhaps we could put some specific shows with regard to nutrition, different topics that people can learn from. Um, for example, I'm a physical therapist. I can add to that body of knowledge as
W-
well.
Yeah, we could do diet and exercise, even though
Yeah,
nobody likes
yeah,
diet. I know that all too
right.
well, being a nutritionist as many years, just like they don't like exercise much either, or
But
they do it for a short period of time and then drop out. But anyway, um,
but
that's a potential for the future too, if people would be interested.
yeah,
Um,
so
the
that
other thing,
that might help with the cost of for up, putting the show together and putting it out for sure.
well, there's a lot of expenses involved. There's the newsletter, that expense. There's the
Hmm.
expense of the restream. There's the expense of the internet itself. Um, and I know there's some other things I'm not even thinking of because
Right,
it's
right.
very expensive. And I am by myself basically, and so there's no one helping me with anything, and so I am really um, dependent on listener support
Yeah,
in
it's
order
all
to make
listener
ends meet.
supported, and so the way people can support. Again, we've talked about this before. Is share the videos. Share the videos, please. There's also under every video there's a description with all of Gail's links, including PayPal, Cash App, and if you prefer to mail a donation, that's there as well. Uh, but um, everything is being squeezed right now, and censorship has been an issue. So we
A
going with the
big issue.
membership, going with the membership could literally keep this channel alive, literally. So that's the difficult decisions that we're coming across right now. Is we want to be here, we want to share information, we want to
This
have
is what I like
fun.
to do. I don't like to have to go out and take another job in order to be able to do it, because then you lose the
Exactly.
enthusiasm and the energy to be able to do it.
We want to bring
Um,
Dr. Young back on, Dr. Artist back on, bring all these spiritual leaders and bring Drake on consistently, and maybe Patty Broussard and all the great people that we've had on here before. We don't want to lose this. So,
yeah.
um,
Patty has already, and I have already talked, so that's a show that will be coming up. We haven't set a date yet, but I was actually going to have her on with the woman that I'm having tomorrow, Jenny Lee. If you want to look her up, she's a very interesting um, galactic type woman, and as well as very knowledgeable from a multidimensional aspect, and what works for different people may not. She's going to go through a number of things, and that'll be really helpful. So I would encourage you to watch the show tomorrow.
yeah,
Um,
I've seen her on another show, and she is very psychic. She gets information from guides, and she may have some very practical tips on how we can get through the current times, which are a little cray cray, little crazy going on with all the energies. But do you want to talk about who we also have scheduled for this week?
well, that was the other thing I was going to have. Jenny Lee and Patty Brazard on. I think that would be really interesting.
Oh, that
But
would be great.
but first, I wanted
That's what
to
the
interview Jenny Lee by herself. I prefer to
right.
do somebody by themselves before I put them
Sure.
in with someone else. But that could be very, very fascinating. And then I also next week I will have um, Ginny on, not Jenny, Ginny.
Yeah.
And Ginny is a horse whisperer and an animal whisperer, so to speak. So she talks to the animals. She's able to communicate with them very effectively. And
And she has a big ranch. She
oh,
does
I,
70% of her work with horses.
mhm.
Um,
I got to say something, if you don't mind, real quick here, because I before this passes up. So hold that thought, Christine.
okay.
Somebody is saying something about Dr. Artist, not so much. Maybe I'm one of those who isn't buying into his venom talk. I'm sorry, but you're going to find out that that has been verified by many uh, other people, including a DNA specialist, Sterling Hill, as well as a number of other doctors. So it's
And
not bogus. It's not
we
so.
recently interviewed Sterling on your show a few shows, couple shows back.
Yes, and she talks exactly about that subject. So I'm going to have to tell you that if you're not listening to any of the other shows besides the Drake show, you're missing a lot. Because I really do my best to bring people on that are informing you about things I think are critical for you to know. And Penny Bradley has her, I noticed that. Penny Bradley is a friend of mine, and she has her own show, and she does a great job. Um,
But I do see suggestions for a Heidi Vandenberg. If anybody has suggestions for people for interviews, please put them in the chat now because that's what we wanted to do is have a discussion with you on who you might like to see as guests and or what topics you would like to see. Um,
Yeah, and I'll do my best to get, to get the people to come on.
exactly.
Sometimes you can invite people, and depending on their schedules and when you're available,
Oh,
sometimes it's
Alex
hard.
Collier. Yeah, that
So,
would be good. No, you're right. I'm sorry. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
um, Alex Collier, actually, I was supposed to get to do a show with him in February, and he got sick, and so that fell through, and I haven't been able to follow up with him since then because they hacked my email account that had the number. So some people um, may have, if they didn't, if they don't follow me regularly, they didn't know that my email got hacked. I've never been able to get back into that email, and that's been a major problem because all of my links and a lot of great contacts were in there. So
Okay, well, if people can keep putting any suggestions for interviews that they think would be great, we appreciate it.
mhm.
Um,
I'm gonna say I have a problem with cobra. I don't like the name, and that's the type of venom that they're
oh,
using.
jeez, the king cobra, right?
Yes, yes. And it's not that they have to get it from directly from the snake. They've already figured out how to manufacture the the spike proteins that are, from that venom.
Also,
I guess
Terry
I better be
Stevens.
careful how I talk on here because we are
Yeah,
on the
really.
censored channels.
The 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 eel oil, we'll say, or something like that. The rep. Got to watch everything. Um,
Yep.
no, and Doctor Artist. We don't subscribe to anyone being absolutely pure truth. We say do your own research, look into things yourself, and come to your own conclusions. We don't know
Well, you don't know if the
everything.
information that we get is
No,
absolutely 100% correct. We're just reporting it or presenting it to you from what we know or read. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. So the best thing that you can do is to take the information and then bring it into your heart space and see if it feels right. And if it does, then you go with it. And if it doesn't, you go, well, I can't buy into that right now, that kind of thing. Now, I know that Patty Brazard knows Kimberly, and Patty has made the comment. She doesn't always know why she says what she says, but they're in two totally different ways of operating. And I
and we
did.
did.
we did reach out to Kim about a year ago. Um, Her office had contacted me, and I wasn't sure about her at that time. And um, I
We did receive a message that not she wasn't available right now at this time to do any more
right,
interviews because they're in a crunch time of some sort.
exactly.
Um,
Thank you,
but
Christine.
we
Yeah.
can reach out. We can reach out again
Hmm.
after this next couple of months. I guess
Hmm. Hmm.
things seem to be
And
ramping up.
I don't have, as far as Karen Ann McDonald, I don't work with her.
Okay. Maybe we could talk
Um,
about some subjects too, like grounding. I think a show on grounding, uh, either with grounding products
well,
or
if people
going out
would,
into
yeah,
nature,
if Jessica Morocco, I have interviewed her before.
we need to
I
bring her
love her.
back.
I need to bring her back on. And there's a lot happening galactically right now. That's why I wish Drake would come on because he probably knows something. But
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
Jessica's involved with the ACIO, which
yes,
is another galactic
directly.
type of organization. So she would, and she's just a great spirit. I love. She's a great person to talk to. So that would be nice.
Oh, Norma, thank you so much for putting that in there and reminding me about that. And you're absolutely correct about that. They discovered an extra water line that could be, which
Oh,
could target communities. And so,
great,
whatever you
great.
do, filter your water. And the Berkey not the Berkey filter is excellent, but the Brita and those little rinky dinky ones, they're not going to do the trick. In
Yeah,
fact, I don't know what the size of um, the spike proteins or, whatever is going on. I don't know. So,
um, excuse me, Ruth. You're wrong. We are not using Drake's name to draw people in, and if you don't have anything positive to say, please leave. Uh, we are waiting for Drake right now. He's having audio issues, and that's all I got to say.
wow, I didn't even see that.
Okay,
So, um, that person is a troll or
I knew. I'll go
or,
take care of it.
thank you. You're not welcome here anymore. Um, Ruth Plant, did you hear what I said? You're not welcome on the show anymore, whether Drake's here or not. I'm not going to put up with that.
No.
I don't need to use Drake's name. So go away.
Okay. Great suggestions in the chat. This is wonderful. Um, Love to see this. And obviously, I'm not able to type in the chat right now, guys. That
You'd
much.
have to go off of the stage and go back, go into the chat. So,
But I
uh,
think I don't know. I think some help on how to grow things or how to grow plants or how to cook. What?
Soul would be great for that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she would
But
be.
see, that would come under like a nutrition or health nutrition and health
Exactly,
section or something like that.
exactly.
So, and that's a lot of extra work for me as well. So, I don't think people realize how much work is involved here and how much extra money is involved in order
Well, I'm
to
just
keep
trying to
everything covered.
brainstorm a little bit and asking the audience as well.
Oh yeah,
What?
I'm not knocking anything you said
Oh
from that
yeah,
matter.
yeah, yeah.
And yes, you're absolutely right, Baja Girl. That activated charcoal is an excellent way to absorb toxins too. It
And
really
weren't
is.
you talking about the bentonite clay that you take that as well sometimes?
Well, yeah, we were talking about that because it's in one of the products for your pets, and it
Okay.
does help absorb, toxins and so on, the same as the zeolite and different forms of products that will um, help you detox. And detoxing is a major issue.
We could have a whole show just on detoxing and how careful you need to be and how what to look for in a Herxheimer reaction and different things and what items might be best for a beginner,
Mhm.
stuff like that. Because even in the chats that we've had on some shows, people have shared with us that they were so sick for 3 days, and it was probably because they did too much too fast, right?
Yeah, well, all of a sudden, all the toxins get released in your bloodstream, as your body is trying to filter it out through the kidneys. So before it all gets filtered out, it's kind of making you feel, ugh. And so that's why it's always recommended that you detox slowly. Now, unless you've been detoxing on a regular basis, on a daily basis, it's really it's really important. And yes, NAC is good for detoxing because it is the precursor to glutathione, which helps to do exactly what you're talking about. But also, I would like to mention that is why I carry the Modexis product that has 1,000 milligrams of glutathione in it, and there are very few products that have that. That's already made. You don't have your body doesn't have to make it. Now, generally speaking, I do agree with the fact that it's better to, in a lot of times under more normal conditions, it's better to have the NAC, the precursor, so your body makes its own. But under the current circumstances, with the amount of toxins and poisons and everything that we're being exposed to, I think it's a good idea to get a lot of the pre-made as well. So,
And may I just add something? Lisa Zimmerman, you are no longer welcome here. Please go away. Elizabeth Gay Hooker, vertical aerobic growing. Yes, I was talking with Gail about something like the Tower Garden. They all have different names, but what can you do in your house, or if you have an apartment or something like that, that you can do? And I know they have a membership with that one, so I think it's
oh,
vertical growing as well as growing outside.
oh, Joe Blow, that is good. I knew there was one out there. Zero filter. Zero is a good one to.
I have to write that down. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. You can. It's fairly available as well. In sauna, LR Pierce, the sauna is very, very good as well.
And you know what I was just thinking? Um, we haven't had Sherry Edwards back because of scheduling issues for the bioacoustic
Hmm.
sound frequency healing. Perhaps we could add her
Hmm.
to our list here. And there's another woman that I really like. Her name is Eileen McCusack, and she does what's called biofield tuning. And
Hmm.
there's practitioners, and I went and got a sound bath from this practitioner that was really good, and she uses tuning forks to work with your auric field.
Hmm.
So it's very interesting.
Okay, I see. Okay, I have found diatomaceous earth is great. So is ivermectin, obviously, even if it's a for horses. You just monitor the amount you use based on your weight.
Yep.
Um, but NAC and glutathione, and I don't. I know glutathione is unstable, but the product that I have looked into, I don't think you're dealing with an unstable glutathione product. There,
And
he is the formulator is a not only a natural doctor but also a pharmacist, so he knows the chemistry, and he knows what will stabilize it and what won't. That's what I believe anyway. And but you can look into it yourself. But anyway, those are very important
but
subjects, and
but
I
with regard to that, Gail, I don't know if the audience realizes how much research we do and interaction we do with these products that you affiliate with.
yes, and
Um,
people also realize that these products are not something that's going to make me rich, because then some people think, oh, she just wants to sell products, or
oh
she
no,
just
not at
wants to get,
all.
or she just wants to, make money or what have you. I'll have you know that you only get about 10%. So if you spend $100, I might get $10. So if you begrudge me that, I don't know what to say.
But
But
I
anyway,
wanted to say that we choose very people with a lot of integrity. We choose organic, non GMO, pesticide free. We choose people who know what they're talking about. and we
and who
take the
actually
we
care.
take the, we care, they care, and we take the products themselves. I have my hemp paste sitting right next to me, so I don't forget to take it. But I like to the mint paste.
I
It's
usually
really
try to
good.
take it before the show, but I didn't get time today.
And thank you for everybody in the audience giving us encouragement that
Kudos.
we're
Yeah,
doing a
thank
magic
you.
job.
If
Thank
you
you
notice,
so
I don't
much.
do many shows where I talk. I usually have a guest on because I'm more chicken than people really realize, even though I know a great deal. But anyway, one thing I would like to share with you that I think is interesting, and you should keep this in mind because it's important, and that is there really is only about 15% of U.S. food that's imported. So, that being said, if only 15% of our food is imported, that means any food shortage created here is the result of 100% government control. Think about that.
Right.
And how many food plants have blown up? I lost track.
So sad. I'm at the point where I can't even look at those things anymore because I don't want to take it into my field, kind of thing.
Right. Oh, hey, I have this might be a little bit interesting that what it was said at the UN. Okay, and we have major concerns at the UN right now, and I would encourage you to watch some recent videos that Carrie Cassidy has put out regarding that. But this one
Oh,
in
really?
particular, yeah, this one in particular says UN just said that the United States at the UN, the Russian ambassador to the UN just said to the United Nations Full Assembly that USA is where the legitimately elected president of the country, Mr. T, was overthrown.
Really?
Russia just told the whole world Trump, or Mr. T, won 2020 election. I hope they don't take me off for saying that, but it certainly is an opinion, and you would think people had rights to their opinions, but we shall see. I hope it doesn't get taken down. But anyway, that just indicates who the real legitimate president of the United States is. And
Well, do you want to talk
I'll
about
explain.
Elon Musk at all? Big
that's a
topic.
that's a whole nother ball game too. Um, I just got
I'm
a
just
I just got some memes that I had collected, and I wanted to put them up, but I haven't had time to do it, so I'm just kind of reading some of them, and they're pretty funny. Um, here's
I'm
one
still
too.
between I don't know whether he's I haven't made a decision on him. I don't have a gut feeling. Um so I'm going to remain neutral on him, you know. And I think that's what we're called to be doing at this time is try not to get triggered
Don't get
by the
suckered in. Yeah,
distraction.
my
Yeah.
my feeling about him is that I always thought, I mean, I have thought for some time that he was dark. I
Hmm.
don't know that if that's truly the case anymore, because he could very well be um, under the control of the White Hats or the alliance. But again, because they don't tell us the truth about things, which is very
Neither
disturbing.
neither side. Neither side.
Neither side, yeah, and they're both feeding us disinformation. So it gets to be very very disturbing as to not, you don't know what to believe. But anybody who's worth nearly $1 trillion or so, I'm gonna have to be a little extra leery of, um, just because of so much that you can get away with that. Now, I don't know if anybody has read the open letter um, from the military, um, or calling the military to take action. Um,
Well, while you're looking for that, I mean, it's
can you
just
talk
hard.
while I look for that? Let me
Yes, of
see.
course I can. Everybody talks about Trump and the White Hats and saving the children and all that. Um, but you need to balance that with potential from the other side. And the reason I say that is because of the secrecy that and potential disinformation that they admit that they give. And I'm talking about people like 107 or Jason Q and all these people that are in a group with some other people that we don't need to mention. But there's some really good people like Greg Atwood. I really like him, but um, some of the other people I don't. Um, but they'll tell you that they have the right almost to give you disinformation because it's a war. I kind of get that. I mean, I can see both sides.
Well, it even goes beyond that, Christine, because back in, I don't remember what year it was, but Obama signed something that propaganda was okay, and which
Yeah,
means that they could, be entertaining and lie to us, and it would be okay, and they wouldn't be held accountable for it, and that's just not right. And I do think that many of the white hats had to go into the dark, so that could be exactly the situation with
true,
Elon too.
true.
So even Mr. T himself, you know, that's. But I know that Liz Crokin, who's an excellent journalist, was never able to really dig up any real dirt on Mr. T, and that's big because that was her job in Hollywood. Was to dig up dirt on people. So if anybody knew how to do it, she did. So I just found the letter from and I'd like to read it to y'all. And it is an open letter to the United States military. We, the people, are asking you to assist us to take our country and sovereignty back from the corporation and the Fed banksters and corrupt politicians. We are firing every last one of them. They no longer represent us. Therefore, they are fired. We are done being slaves and paying taxes that our government wastes and our dollars, and it's not even backed by gold, which is fiat worthless paper by illegal and corrupt Fed. We have the 2020 election problem. We know you all know JB and the pedo did not win. Um, This could get me in trouble too, but anyway, we have the right to dissolve the government when all other measures have been exhausted, and we have tried. And the people in America have. They've been standing up to the school boards. They've been, talking to um, the people. And yes, 2,000 meals is good, and it shows a lot. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. So anyway, going on. We have the right to dissolve the government when all other measures have been exhausted, and we have tried. January, just as an example, the January 6th protests, the convoys, the multitudes of protests, going to school board town meetings, attending the Trump rallies, the rightful winner, social media warriors, voting, election machine rigging. It's all rigged. See the movie Rigged and Mike Lindell's proof. We have lost friends, family members through COVID, poisonous,
Uh-uh.
you know what, and through sharing the horrific truth of all hidden from us for decades, the including the blank assassination, 9/11, and just two of hundreds of examples, because we've been lied to our entire life, and so have our families and the families before us. They owe us a lot of money. But anyway, we are tired of the wars. We are tired and do not want we are tired of wars we do not want. We do not want to support any wars unless enemies attack us. We want our country back and are demanding you act as soon as possible on our behalf. We want action. We want our sovereignty. We never agreed to be a mini corporation at birth and given all capital letters on our birth certificates. We never agreed to be traded like cattle while others make money from us unknowingly. We refuse to be slaves to the deep state for one moment longer. We want Nasara implemented as soon as possible. We will put another much, much, much smaller government in place once these horrible, inept people are fired and prosecuted for their crimes against us and our children. Patriots who agree, please share. Military reading this, please take this message from we the people to your commanding officers. Please respond to us using the EAS system. Patriots, this needs to go viral on every platform, which is why I'm taking the risk of presenting it here. I'm tired of having to go to uncensored platforms in order to put out some truth. I'm really tired of it. We're supposed to be able to speak freely in this country, and we need to take it back. And if we need the military to do that, then please step up. That's your job.
Yep. And then whatever happened to, gathering petitions, or maybe I'm just not aware of the movers and shakers on the ground building
Well, that's
community
partly
and
because our media will not give any attention to anything of that nature. So, like right now,
well,
when's the
maybe
last time you heard of anything about the truckers in Washington?
well, right. And but what I'm saying is maybe we can crowdsource this with the audience. Do you know what I'm saying? We might
Mhm.
not know the answer, but they go to all different types of channels. Maybe they can come back and say, this organization like I Can, or the Children's Health Defense, or the doctors on the front line. I said that wrong, but there are different organizations that are making impact, and maybe we could get a list of that together for our audience, because I want to do something, right? But where could I
Yes.
start?
Yeah, Ascension 20, thank you for the parents who went to the school boards. I want to thank the parents that went to the school boards and
Yes.
stood up for their children too. That's what standing up for your freedoms really is. And they are dealing with your children. And some of the things that they are trying to convince children to do nowadays is just horrible. Um, Okay, and bonds for the win. Yes, Norma, that you're absolutely right on that. And people need to use them. There's so much we could be doing. Um, and that's why I try to bring the information forward that can help you to do some of these things. Um, Dr. Oz is dark. He may have, just because somebody puts out some good stuff doesn't mean that they're not dark. I have seen him in pictures with Maria Abramovich, the spirit cooker, um, among other things. So I get real concerned when I see that sort of thing. So um, they most of them have been busted, and that's a good thing, because they put on this like they're good guys and they're all that, but really they're not.
Well,
Um,
I'm thinking of a potential interview with someone who is doing a petition or trying to make a change. Remember, we had that gentleman on from the state assembly in Arizona. He
oh
provided a
yeah,
lot of
Dennis
information.
Krill, yeah,
Yes,
and
yeah,
he was working with, and I became a non-resident alien state national.
an
Um,
alien. Oh, that's nice.
Non-resident, yeah, because they have us so that if you say you're a citizen, that means you're a part, you work for the corporation. They have deceived us in so many ways, it's unbelievable.
Hmm.
But the corporation supposedly is um, dissolved at this point, and that was part of Mr. T's job. And
But I'm sorry. They For 2 years they've been saying we have all the information. We have it all. It's all backed up. We caught them. We did this. We did that. And it's like 2 years later. It's like, whoa, hello. Let's get moving here. I mean, you know, people
I'm
need.
with you.
It's just so frustrating, and and I don't like it when people blame the unawakened sometimes, because, well, I've had 20, 30 years of this awakening process, whereas somebody in the last 2 years only had a year or two. You know what I mean? So I'm praying for all these galactic rays to come from the central sun and imbue us with great DNA and changes, right?
Yeah, and get our vibrations so high that nobody can lie to us anymore.
Yeah.
Because we'll see it just like that, and that's where we need to get to be, so that right away. And
And
as our
and I want to
vibrations goes up, that will happen.
and I want to say kudos to you, Gail, for having a lot of spiritual leaders on the show, like Victoria Reynolds and Kimberly Palm and the others, Akura, and everybody that have been talking about this and encouraging us to stay. in a higher frequency and to reach for the stars, really. Do you know?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just laughing at what Norma just said. If I had been this weak as I am now, I would have lost my mind.
Oh, I
You
feel
know,
like that sometimes,
yeah.
right?
Well, you know what happens is first you go into you start seeing all the corruption in one area. I worked in healthcare, so I started seeing there, and I'm going. I remember when I was seeing patients on um, chemo. Okay, and ugh, I can't remember how many times I thought to myself, "Why are they doing this? Can't they see it doesn't work?" Because,
Well,
they would always be coming back, and then when they came back, things had metastasized and were even worse. So, that's just one area, though. Then we can go into, the education arena and look what happened with the school boards and everything there. Then so we got problems in the healthcare, we got problems in
can I
education.
mention the healthcare problems? In 2020, I was working in a nursing home, and almost every day you had different instructions of what personal protective equipment you had to use, yada, yada, yada. Fine, you can deal with that. But what was so heartbreaking was they would not allow visitors at times. So the residents, the patients never had their families. They had to look at them through the window, or they could go outside and be through a plexiglass, but they couldn't even hug them. And it just brought me down so badly. I had to get out of there. It, and
I couldn't
people
watch it anymore either. I couldn't handle it anymore. I couldn't have been a nurse. I wouldn't have been
the
able, especially what's being pushed right now.
and people with
I would have had to
dementia,
leave.
who was or a large portion of this poor people, their dementia would decline so rapidly because there wasn't stimulation enough. You know, you were it basically. The therapists, the nurses, and the doctors. You know, that was it.
Mhm.
It was so
Um,
sad, really
yeah.
sad.
As far as Oprah is concerned, she's not. She's dark, and I don't mean the color of her skin. um, I used to think she was such a wonderful person too, but
Yeah, growing up
she's
when I was younger, she seemed that way,
yeah.
but I don't look at her the same now.
Oh no, me either. And many um, of the big star actors and actresses. I can't even watch their movies anymore because I know what they've done to children.
Yeah,
And so this,
and it's hard, and people in the know, um, with various mind control patents and people who research that, you know, they weren't against TV, and they weren't, just use caution when watching a video. You don't know what's coming out of that,
mhm.
basically.
I do know that someone mentioned about Oprah, and yes, that's true. She is that, and she's also a high level witch.
Oh,
Yeah, very high level.
interesting.
Oh, somebody said she's a man. Now that one I haven't heard.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. You don't know who's men and you don't know who's
You
women
don't.
anymore. You really don't because and you know what I was thinking as far as women out there are concerned, you know how they never wanted to do, they always used to talk about breaking the glass ceiling. Well, if they broke the glass ceiling, they broke it with a woman who was really a man. So it's like, wow.
They
Um,
change genders like we change clothes, it seems.
exactly. And now they're trying to do it to children.
Mm,
And
no, and we can't allow that. We can't. I mean, we got to stop it.
okay. Oh, Father of Dragons. Ah, Gail, these chats are not very productive. Well, maybe we should just shut it down. And I'm sorry that you don't think it's very productive, what we've been talking about, but there's other people here that I do think so. We always got a critic. Somebody. It's always easy to criticize. It's not as easy to participate, be compassionate, understanding, kind, and respectful. That's what's going to change this world, and it has to come from every one of us. Okay, think about that. Um, we're just bringing up topics that are of concern to people, and the only way this transition and all the good things can happen is when we start to be kind, be respectful, be compassionate, and think about what it's like to be in the other person's shoes. You don't know their journey. You don't know what they've been through. So
Mm-hmm.
judging them really isn't your place.
Right.
Your place is to be kind and respectful. That's the most important thing. And if we lived in a world that everybody acted that way, we'd be in a paradise. We'd be prosperous and bountiful. And dark
And
does need to come to light. And, darkness is lack of knowledge. Light is the knowledge that you were lacking in the darkness. And so that's what's coming forward now. That's a wonderful thing that's happening. As difficult as it may be to find out some of the things that have been going on, um, especially with our children, that's to me, it's just heartbreaking. It to think, and some of you may not have any idea how bad it really is, but it is really bad. If you have grown um, men in law enforcement who have seen videos and probably seen all kinds of nasty stuff in their life,
and the
uh,
soldiers,
and
the
the soldiers,
soldiers.
and they see the videos or the things that have been done to children, they become extremely disturbed and frequently either go vomit or also go need to see a psychologist or counselor or somebody to help um, debrief them, you might say. So,
And thank
um,
God for those people that are working with them to lift them
exactly.
up and to help them work through those issues. Yeah. But I think it's important to talk about this stuff. I mean, sometimes your friends or family aren't the best people to talk to about this stuff. And sometimes we just need to hear it and know that we're not alone, and there are other people who feel the same way. I mean, that's what
I
it's about, you
Yeah,
know?
I'm going to respond to somebody here too. They said I'm concerned about Orange County, California, um, and I don't know everything that's going on in Orange County. You may have some additional light in that area, but I just read an article about prison and jails in that county feeding inmates moldy, spoiled food, and them getting very sick and not being given any care. And so the sicknesses become chronic. And frequently, I don't know what happened to our judicial system, but it used to be you're innocent until proven guilty. Now you're guilty until proven innocent. Our whole system, it all needs to be um, taken down and rebuilt because it's so corrupt. I don't know that it can necessarily even be fixed. And Norma, you're absolutely right too. We all have free will here. If you don't like the content of what we're talking about, or you're bored, or you don't like it, leave. It's very simple. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to, make a nasty comment or anything. Just leave. Simple as that. You know. Um, and thank you for that comment. And EB, you're right. The corruption is everywhere, and love is the key too. It really is. And that's what being kind, being respectful, and being compassionate is all about. And there,
Another topic. I'm sorry to interrupt you. When we were talking about Soul earlier, she's a friend of ours, and she works hard in her community. They are literally building things up from scratch and bartering and working on laws and stuff like that. Maybe someone like that would be helpful to talk to.
well, I have a call into Thomas Renz. In fact,
Oh,
I need
okay.
to follow up on it. And he's one of the few good attorneys out there that's actually trying to do something about what's going on. Because they know
Exactly.
how corrupt the system is. They know about all the bribes and all the, um, the your prosecutor is having lunch with your public pretender. Okay, So, I mean, where does that get you?
Right, right. And
And
that would be a very good positive route to
right. And
go.
I'm
Nothing
also
to do.
looking for somebody on the prison systems, because people think that when they privatize prisons, and even any ones that are still government, they're still a business for profit. So when they're a business for profit, that means they're going to do whatever they have to make money. And part of what that involves is um, saving on the food supply and providing food that's not fit for human consumption. I've had many people that I know who have been inmates, even for short periods of time, that worked in the kitchens and said that they saw boxes of food there that were probably meats, or that green bologna that you heard about if you've ever known anybody who's been in the who's cow, that they feed it to the inmates. Nobody should be able to get away with that. And then if they find out that there's an inspection coming, they clean it all up, and then
Yeah,
they think
arresting
it's
people
okay.
for
Yeah,
pot, the one thing that probably helps people the most.
exactly. Yeah, it just goes on and on. Anything that was good for us, they made it illegal.
Right.
And stuff that wasn't.
If you
Do you
want
know
the
that
truth,
300,000 people die every year from prescription drugs alone?
right. And if you want the
300,000.
if you want the truth, just turn it upside down and backwards in a mirror, and
Yeah.
that's the truth,
And if they
right?
say it on the media, it's inverted, so think opposite.
Right. Right.
And when that's going to be cleaned up, I don't know. But again, I am calling on this show for our military to do its job.
Yep.
Um, and I know I don't have all the information um, to be critical or anything like that, but I think I don't think I'm alone in that request. People want to see something happen, something real. We need some truth. We need to know that. I know I hear about all kinds of things that are going on, behind the scenes. But the fact of the matter is, the vast majority of people aren't knowing what goes on behind the scene unless you're a regular researcher and you know where to look and things of that nature. I mean, I used to think the CDC was all that. Now I wouldn't give them the time of day.
Right.
Um, and that's the kind of thing that we're dealing with. So
And that's part of the revelation of these times as well.
right. And I just want I want our military to step up and do their job. And that's
Also,
part of their job. And not that they haven't already been doing stuff. I am totally aware of that, and I believe it to be true. But the rest of the people need to see it too. How else are you going to wake people up? By creating horrid events? That's going to wake them up? I mean, I suppose there's some truth to that, but um,
well, a couple people.
Sarah, that's very interesting. Look what Sarah just said.
I
I worked in a prison for 10 years. The warden gets any money left over
Oh
from
God,
the food budget. Oh
excuse
my
me.
God. That is just horrible. Let me tell you something else that I know too, on that same order, when it comes to the courts and corruptions. If a judge, just as an example, assigns you they're not really judges, they're actually administrators of the corporate debt. But anyway, when they give you a fine of, say, $40, they get 18 of that. So just like the doctors, that
Oh,
when a child is fully vaccinated, they get $400. So we have the cabal that has set in all of these incentives that have ruined um, the integrity of the people who the incentives have been given to, because you can't tell me that that doesn't affect your practice, or your whatever you're doing, because it will.
Ascension 2020 says just learned that Harvard and Yale did a study on the jails, and that 41 to 69% are innocent.
Yes. What was the figure you gave?
41 to 69.
Oh my God. Yeah, because they manufacture evidence. once they got somebody, they don't really care that they if they really did it or not. There's money involved, and there are bribes involved. There's um, different ways of trading favors. Well, we'll let this guy off, but then we got to convict this guy, or it's
Yeah,
horrible. I mean, it
yeah.
really is. It's really horrible. It has nothing to do with
It's a business.
yeah. And that's
They
the
corporatize it.
fundamental problem with business in our country, is that it is for profit, and depending on the integrity of the owners of the business really will depend on whether or not they maintain that integrity.
Right. We've
Um,
got a lot of work to do, huh?
yeah.
I will be going back and looking at at the chat. You guys have provided so much information. Thank you so much for interacting as actively as you have. Cheryl Whitestone here says Corey Diggs has a list of coops and clean foods, local lists and farmers, for example. So I'll try to collate some of this information from the chat later so we
See,
can
that's the other thing,
forward.
our we're talking about the Nasara thing a little bit. We didn't go into it in any great detail, but it also relates to the fact that they would raise Social Security, so it's actually something you could live off of. Trust me,
Oh,
it
the wood napkin nice.
doesn't even
Yeah.
pay my rent at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
So we need so many changes, and we just need to get off this um, corporations for profit. That's been our problem. Money is our problem. Um,
Blackmail and all that that goes with
yeah,
it, right?
yeah. It just there's just no end to it. So anyway, last I heard, they get 40K per inmate. Yeah, see, it's always based on money. And where do you think that? Do you think the taxpayers are paying for that? No, they're grabbing that out of their trust accounts, between the clerks and the courts and the prosecutors and the judges. Very corrupt. Very corrupt. Um, anyway,
Any
I'm
words from
sorry
you?
that we didn't get Drake on today. We tried. We were supposed to have a show today. He was busy with his trying to get his computer fixed. I mean, he got hacked. He got it back. He thought everything was okay, but then he couldn't. He couldn't get any sound. So, gee, uh, that's. I guess that's a way of shutting you down without shutting you down. But anyway, and I
Okay.
do want Nasara to change everything. I'm all in favor of it. James Rink did a great um, presentation on Nasara a couple years ago. So, alrighty, everyone. Thank you for listening. Again, I'm sorry that Drake couldn't be here. He had every intention of being here, and we had every intention of having him here, but
But
stuff
it was I
happens.
think it was a good conversation and I just liked interacting with everybody in the chat. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it, and thank you for listening to a little jibber jabber here. But anyway, thank you, and we'll see you again soon. Until
Tomorrow with
next time.
Jenny.
Oh yeah, don't forget Jenny Lee. You will like her, I guarantee it. So join me tomorrow at the same time. No, actually, it starts at 4 tomorrow.
Your time at
For
4.
my time, so that's 7 Eastern time.
Okay.
So please tune in, and as soon as I can get Drake on again, I will. Otherwise, don't forget he does have a show on Saturdays,
I put
and
that in the oh, I can put that in the description later.
yeah, he has the Blog Talk Radio show. It's just him, and
I can put it in the chat real fast. Okay?
okay, I can let you talk before I start the end of the show here.
No,
Um,
you can start the end.
oh, it'll go. Okay. All right. Again, thank you, everyone. Love you all, and
Love you. Thank you.
thank you to anyone and everyone who has made contributions. Thank you, Beverly, and thank you, Sheila, especially. Very much appreciated, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
stay.